you ever thought about setting up a trust? And if so, how much should a family trustee be paid if so? Here to talk with me about this is Harry Margolis. He's the author of Get Your Ducks in a Row. Harry, welcome.
Good to see you again, Bob.
Good to see you. It'd be good to have you answer this question for us.
Well, there's no hard and fast rule. As I said in the answer that I posted, it's a big gray area. So first of all, most family member trustees are not paid, but maybe they should be. It really depends on how much work is involved, and that's probably the main thing. Is it a big burden or a small burden? If it's going to be an ongoing trust that someone's going to be a trustee on, then there should be a discussion. And if the person's being appointed from the beginning, they should have a discussion with the grantor if they expect to be paid, how much that should be and what's reasonable. And if they work it out and it's decided on, there's usually no problem with that. What we see more often, however, is that the grantors pass away, the family member trustee spends a lot of time working on the trust, whether it's selling a house, liquidating assets, managing a farm, we've seen for a number of years, and they, after the fact, they say, well, I put in all this time and effort, I ought to be paid. And that can get real problematic because the other beneficiaries are not expecting that they get paid. They may say that as long as we're paying someone, well, we could have paid a professional, why do we pay you? Or they may agree that they should get some compensation, but how much? Should they really get the same compensation as a professional trustee, whether that's a bank or a trust company or an accountant or a lawyer? And they may put in a lot of kind of sweat equity effort, but again, they might have been able to hire other people. And if they were going to hire other people, or if they were going to pay for it, other people might just have been better at whatever it was. And again, I talked about farm management. Maybe they could have done a better job liquidating things. So usually we try to counsel everybody to come to some compromise, that usually people deserve some compensation, but maybe not at the rate of what it would cost to replace them with a professional. And one thing we have to point out to them is if they do get paid, that's taxable income. Unlike a trust, most trust distributions are not taxable income, or maybe a very small portion of it is. But if you get paid for services acting as trustee, you have to report that and pay tax on it. And that may be a reason to take a somewhat smaller fee. Families should try to work it out in a way that seems fair.
Yeah. Do you see cases where the grantor actually establishes what the trustee should be paid?
Yeah, sometimes, but it's pretty rare. Because I think people just don't think about it and talk about it, unfortunately. Right. It's better if they do.
Is that something that you think from an estate planning attorney's perspective, that's something that they should bring up in conversations with the grantor?
Yeah, I think so. The attorney should, and anyone being invited to be trustee should. And again, I mean, most people, when someone passes away and they're settling an estate as executor or something like that, often they don't get paid, or if they do get paid, it's for kind of a finite period of time where they're putting in a lot of work, say for a year. It's where things extend beyond that for whatever reason, that things get kind of more troubled. And of course, if it extends longer than a year, the beneficiaries are probably saying, why aren't we getting paid? Why isn't this getting resolved? And then you put in the trustee fee in the middle of that, and that creates more difficulties.
Yeah. Is it common from your perspective that the trustee is also the executor of the estate too? And in which case that sounds like double duty.
Yeah, well, it's double duty in some ways, but it's more often you're doing the same thing. I mean, you're handling some things that are non-probate assets, like the trust, and some things that are probate assets, and you're doing the income tax return, the final income tax return, and perhaps an estate tax return. And so it's more efficient if it's one person. But again, it can be a lot of work.
Yeah. Harry, I think I've exhausted all my questions. Anything we missed?
I think that's it. But again, transparency is probably the best rule of thumb here. And that's, I guess, another point I would make. If it is going to take a long time and you do expect to be paid, don't raise it at the very end. Raise it earlier on so you can have the discussion with the family members and they're not so surprised by it.